Hello aspirants, welcome to CS Education Hub. In this channel, we try to provide the best guidance in civil services, and therefore today we are here to present our session on liberal theory of state, which is a part of political science and international relations optional. So we would go on with this session and we'll be looking into the issue. So let's start this session. In the first slide, we would be talking about liberal theory of state. Now, let me discuss first about the importance of this theory. Now, liberal theory of the state is one of the theories which is one of the most important topics in political theory as far as PSIR optional is concerned. And it basically forms the basis of political science and also political theory for that matter. And it enhances our understanding of theories of state. So let us start with the theory. Now, when we talk about liberal theory of state, we talk about various thinkers. We talk about various theories related to this particular concept. Now here, for the first time, it comes like the social contract theory, which is a part of liberal theory of state. There, we talk about the state, which is not a kind of natural institution, but it is assumed to be an artificial device or instrument invented by men themselves for their mutual benefit. So here in the social contractualist does not believe that that the state is something which was not a creation of human being. They basically says that people sometime in history has come together and went on to a contract in order to create the state, and therefore they believe that state is not a kind of natural institution. They also goes on to believe about the state of nature, and they give various theories that how the state of nature looked like before this institution came into being, of course with people's consent. So state basically, according to this contractualist, is intended to serve the interest of the individuals or all the sections of the society. So the institution called the state is basically meant for the welfare of the society or to serve the interest of the people. So it is a product of the will of the society. So it has definitely come up from the consent of the people as well as the will of the society. Hence, we can say that state is an expression of common will. Now here, common will indicates the will of all the people around in the society. So state is a kind of outcome of voluntary agreement of individuals. So sovereignty given to the state is an outcome of such an agreement according to the social contractualist. So overall, if we see the theory of social contractualists, we see that state is not a kind of natural institution, and it is an expression of common will. That means it is being set up or it has been created by the consent of the people residing in this society itself. So this is how the social contractualist interprets the state, where people have a lot of liberty. Okay. Now, if we go on to see the other liberal, exponents, the exponents of the classical liberal theory, which is also a part of liberal theory of state. Now we can see these pictures that indicates different thinkers who are the exponents, like Adam Smith, Jeremy Bentham, and Herbert Spencer, and there are many more. Now these people were the ones who were the supporter of classical liberal theory of state. Now let us see what is in classical liberalism. Now classical liberalism basically places individual at the center of its philosophy. According to them, the property was a product of individuals' labor. Okay, so whatever we produce by ourselves or whatever we generate by ourselves, that is because of our own effort. So therefore, this classical liberals believe that whatever is produced with the help of our labor, with the help of our skill, belongs to us, and therefore we have total liberty to appropriate those things by ourselves. Okay, so it advocated a kind of laissez-faire economy in which, you know, the state would interfere with individual activities at minimum level. That means the non-interventionist role of the state in economic activities of individual. Okay, so this theory basically argues that, you know, individual is endowed with faculty of reason, which enables him to find what is most conducive to his interest. Hence, advocated individuals' right to freedom of trade, freedom of contract, etc. So they assume that, you know, reason is very much there in all individuals, and with the help of this reason, they are able to interpret that, you know, what is good for them and what is bad for them. So therefore, they should have the right to freedom to do anything they want in their life. So this is what, you know, the classical liberals propounded, basically, who supported individual liberty to the fullest. All right. So next we would see that, you know, according to the classical liberals, what would be the role of state? Now they interpret that, you know, state is a necessary evil. Now, why do they call it as necessary and why evil? Okay. Now let us see why evil. It is evil because it imposes regulations and restricts the freedom of the individual. Okay. They call it as evil. If we break this word necessary evil, we get the meaning of it in a clarified way. Now it says that it is evil because, you know, according to liberals, individuals' actions should not be restricted by the state. But if we have the state in place, it is definitely going to restrict some of the freedom of the individual, and that is why they consider it evil. But on the other hand, they also consider it to be necessary. Why necessary? Because without its regulation, without the regulation of the state, the freedom of the individual cannot be safeguarded. Okay, so in this context, what is said, what they propound basically is that, you know, if the individuals are let free in all the aspects, okay, and everybody is equally enjoying their unlimited freedom, then that might lead to chaos in the society. That might lead to conflict in the society. So there should be a minimum agent who would be regulating all the people around in the society. So that is why he says, or they says that, you know, it is very much necessary to have this state, and therefore the statement that, you know, state is a necessary evil comes up from this classical thinkers. So that is how they interpret the role of the state in a you know, liberal world. So that is how. Okay, so I hope you know, everybody is clear about this classical theorist, what they had to say. Now you know, so you know, in this slide we would talk about the course, you know, that we are going to basically provide to the aspirants who have really a vision to become, you know, civil servants in future. So you can get all the details from this slide, which is here. So we are going to launch a 100-hour online course in PSIR, and we have a good resource person, as you can see in the slide. And regarding the course, if you would take it up, we would give you, you know, certain materials as well as PPTs, and also live interactive sessions, mock tests, and also you know, one-to-one guidance, and also we would teach you that, you know, how to write answers, how to present your answers. So that is the most important part of any optional that you prefer. So in that case, we would be providing all these things, so you can get the details and contact us in the number if you're interested, and also you can mail us. All right, so the description of all these things would be given below, so you can check it from there. So let us move on to liberalism. So now we would go on to the exponents of positive liberalism. Okay, now one of the part of liberal theories is the positive liberalism. Now we can see the pictures of John Stuart Mill, Thomas H. Green, and also Harold Laski. Now these were the people. Along with them, there were more other peoples also, who were a part of positive liberalism, but these are the most important thinkers who are related to positive liberalism. Now let us see what this concept talks about. Now, this positive liberalism basically talks about welfare state. Okay. Now, what happened was that towards the beginning of the 20th century, liberalism tended to accommodate some tenets of socialist and idealist thought. Okay, which was responsible for the emergence of the theory of welfare state. Now, so basically, positive liberalism talks about welfare state, and we all know what welfare means. Welfare here means about the welfare of the people. Okay, so positive liberalism basically promoted the idea of welfare state as it pleaded for positive role of the state in securing welfare of its citizens, particularly of the vulnerable sections of the society. So we see that in every society there are many categories of people who exist. Okay, some might be elite, some might be middle class, some might be vulnerable for that matter. Now this positive liberalism basically promotes the idea of welfare state, okay, where these vulnerable sections would be taken care of by giving certain incentives by the state, where the state would act as an agent to improve the conditions of these vulnerable sections of the society. Okay, so next would be the exponents of libertarianism, where we can see the pictures of Hayek, Isaiah Berlin, Milton Friedman, Robert Nozick, etc. So all these people have to say about libertarianism. So let us see what is it. Now, as we can see in this slide, that during the second half of the 20th century, some of the thinkers in the liberal tradition found that the theory of welfare state, okay, to be inimical to the individual liberty, and sought to revive the original concern of this tradition with laissez-faire philosophy. Now, this particular thought, this particular scholars, they uphold full autonomy and freedom of the individuals. Okay. Now, in the previous, theories, we have seen that the things were trying to give the state certain rights whereby they could control limited amount of activities of the individuals. But here we would see that this libertarianism, the scholars are trying to revive the traditions of liberty, okay, the original form of liberty, where this individuals exercises full autonomy. Okay, it seeks its liberation from all sort of institutions which tend to restrict his vision of the world. Okay, so in a state, what do we find? We find different institutions are there who coexist, right? And all these institutions exercises some kind of restrictions in our activities, in our movement. So this libertarian, they thought that all this kind of restrictions in the form of institutions should be averted. Okay, that could be the institution of religion, family, or customs of social conformity, apart from political institutions. So they basically propounded that people should be totally free to exercise their rights, okay, in this society. So it treats men as maker of his destiny. Okay, so they supports the idea where people are totally set free from all the restrictions, all the bondages, because they believe that if people are set free, then only they can achieve their fullest development of their individual, of their personality, and that would actually lead towards the liberal state. Okay, so this is what the libertarians believe. Now let us see what is the role of the state in their view. Okay, now they say that states cannot be allowed to intervene for any artificial balancing of rights. So as we know that they do not support the interference of the state at all. So therefore they do not want the state to be allowed to intervene in any of the matters related to rights of the individuals. All right. So, but however, in libertarians also there were many categories. Now, for example, in this slide, if you could see that these moderate libertarians, they concede that government may legitimately engage in police protection or enforcement of contracts for which civil as well as criminal courts might be established. So even the moderate libertarians believe that there should be certain amount of restrictions by the state, but which would be very, very minimum in amount. Okay, in order to regulate the crimes, or in order to curb the illegal activities or the conflicts in the society. So it may what we may say is that they basically interprets the state to be a night watchman state. Okay, now what do you mean by night watchman state? Now if you see the word night watchman, that means the men who actually watches over everything at night. Okay, that means it is just providing a kind of protection, or it is just providing a kind of security to the individual's life. Okay, so that is how we see that state has a role, a very minimum role in this context. All right, so that is what we have found in this libertarian view. I hope all of you have understood well the views of libertarianism. So in this context, we would see that how it is important in UPSC. Now, again, if anybody wants to join the course, they are free to join it. And therefore, if anybody is interested, please contact us in the given number, and also you can mail us. And all the descriptions has been given below in the below links. So one who wants to contact us or one who is interested, please go through the link that is given in the descriptions below. All right. So here you see. When we talk about UPSC, we see that a lot of question comes in. So in this context, if we would see that how much this topic is important from UPSC perspective or from civil services perspective, we would see that not that many questions have come in different years. So let me check if there is any question from this particular topic. So we do have questions on theories of state, where it talks about various theories, like there are other theories too, like the pluralist theory, the libertarian theory. So here we have find the questions on neoliberal state, the theory of neoliberal state, which has been asked in previous year UPSC. So when we talk about neoliberal state, we talk about the modern conception of liberalism, where we have seen how the role of state is very much limited, or the role of state is confined to certain kind of regulations only. So when it comes to the questions, we need to really interpret the question in a good way, and we need to comprehend all the keywords that are there in the question. All right, so if I have a question on this theory of liberal state comes in, we need to be very much comprehensive about all the categories that comes under liberal theory. All right, so that is how we can go about, and in the subsequent sessions, we would be taking up the things which we can take up in details, right? So I hope all of you would be benefited by this section, and if anybody is interested, so you may join us, right? And we would be launching our course soon. So hope all of you get benefited from it. Thank you so much for joining.